From the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill in Champaign, Illinois, Ford of Tuscola proudly presents to you the Behind the Mic Show, featuring sports, comedy, and entertainment. Now here's your hosts, Keith Gibson and Sam Irwin.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill here in Champaign, Illinois. I am Keith Gibson. Alongside me each and every week from the Cat Palace down in Paducah, Kentucky, he is the slinging one, Sammy Irwin. Sammy, big show today. A lot of hot topics to talk about. Let's talk about your weekend, though. You know, I haven't really talked to you a whole lot since last week.
I know, busy. Everybody's busy. Good God,
busy.
You got so much going on.
Packing,
it's just,
moving.
You don't know how thankful I am for this time with you. That's the thing. See, it just I cherish it even more. Whenever So yeah, I with the second kid on the way like you got and moving, it's like you've lost your mind and decided to do everything at once. That's a bit stressful. Yeah. So, but we're gonna get you through it. We're gonna get you moved. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be great. And then, yes, that's right. The new place, of which we will save the name, right? Or do you want to let the name out?
It's going to be called the Clubhouse Lounge.
Ooh, a classier joint than the cheap seats. Much classier.
More lounge feeling than bar feeling.
Yes. That's important. Yeah, I like that. But how was your weekend
busy
overall?
Packed. Made several trips to Monticello to put in storage, because what people don't understand is I have to move out of here, move everything to storage, close on my new house, and then move everything from storage into my new house. Get to move twice.
What a nightmare.
Because that's how I like to do it.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Right. Why not? Let's do it. Let's do it the hard way.
That's what she said.
Keith Gibson. Right. So this is number one. All right. And my weekend, sorry, we got off track there, but my weekend was great. Went up north. Ella getting ready to turn 7 this week. So we kind of did a little well, we did just all sorts of things with that child this weekend. Took her to Walmart and just let her shop and pick out things. And she at first was like, well, if I pick it out, then it won't be a surprise. I said, well, here's the point.
Good point.
I said, you walk through, and she got a good point. But me, as I continue to work on being a salesperson to sell an idea to someone, I said, well, here's what we can do. I said, this is shopping. You like to shop. I said, and also I said, as you walk through, pick out a few things, 4 or 5 things. And then out of that 4 or 5, I'll pick one. So you won't know which one out of the 4 or 5. And she goes, ooh, I like that.
Good job.
Said, there you go.
Good
I said,
sale.
so you got a say in it, but you also will be a little bit surprised. And I said, also, it depends on how we act, and we don't go nuts and things, because she get a little wound, of course, imagine that. So anyway, so she picks a few things, and then her and her mom wander off. And I said, all right, I'm going to grab, or take all, figure out what I'm going to do and just go out to the car, whatever. And Amanda goes, well, it may be a little bit. We got to do some other things. I said, silence is golden. I'm fine. It's a nice day out there, and I can just read something on my phone. Take your time. And she laughed, and a couple that walked by laughed because the guy understood. So anyway, so I went out. I bought all of the presents.
What a guy.
So I was like, whatever. Right. So I bought all the presents. So she got out to the car. It was so funny. Not that she was excited or anything. She was, supposed to, we're still in the parking lot. We're sitting there. And she's now sitting up between us, not back in the car seat, and just sitting there rocking like this. And I said, what's the matter? She goes, what did you pick? I said, it's going to drive you nuts, isn't it? She's like, yeah. I said, well, sit back. And I said, well, I'll show you. So I just kept throwing her gifts or whatever, and she just went.
Good for you.
So it turned out great. And then we went and played basketball. Her mom bought her a basketball. So we went in a park there in Muhammad, played a little basketball, and Ella decided she wanted to be me and her against her mom, right? And so we're playing. Well, Ella doesn't obviously understand the game or anything yet. She just want to dribble and shoot and don't defend me, anything like that. And then when it's her turn to defend, she doesn't get that you can't claw and scrape and assault the person to get the basketball. So her mom calls a foul. And her mom jokingly, because bless her heart, this kid does not pick up sarcasm or joking. Everything is like 100% legit serious. And she said, you fouled me. You have to sit out now. And boy, if looks could kill, and stomped off the court, goes over and leans against the fence. And I'm laughing, which she shouldn't do because the kid's mad. But she's upset. And her mom, she goes, Ella, I'm just shooting free throws here. She goes, you can come back out. She goes, you said that I had to go sit out. She goes, I'm not playing anymore.
Oh, the joys of
It was
children.
a heck of a day. Yeah. Oh, heck of a day. But no, overall good.
Good. That's good to hear. We got a lot of things to talk about today. We're going to go over the NFL Week 2 recap. Cam again, surprising. Brady gets a win. We'll go over that. And we'll also talk about the quarterbacks that get paid a lot more than Cam Newton. We'll talk about Tiger's struggle at the U.S. Open. We'll talk about can anybody beat Clemson at all in college football. We'll also talk about LeBron. And he's got a couple haters. And who's he better? Is it him or AD? Who do you want? We'll take your pick. And we'll talk a little bit about baseball, too. MLB races as well as it winds down its season. Cubs look to be a lock in the playoffs, so that's always a good thing. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about our bees, trees, trivia. Can we make it 12 weeks in a row? That's 3 months, Sam.
A dozen. That is insane. A dozen now in a row. Crazy. And they actually do it while they're watching the show.
Right.
That's the great thing.
Can we make it 3 months in a row, 12 weeks in a row, 3 months? We'll have that, our dumb criminal of the week, which I'm sure you have a dandy.
Oh, I got one right here in Kentucky.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring in Coach
Benton
Rangers head football coach Justin Groves, our good friend, and we'll talk to him about their Let Us Play rally they went to in Springfield last weekend and what he can expect here coming up this spring for the football season. We'll take a quick break, come back, and we'll get right into things with a Fast Five right here on the Behind the Mic Show.
For more than 150 years, you've believed in Busey. Today, more than ever, we believe in you. To our healthcare workers, first responders, and local businesses, you're central to the communities we're proud to call home. Busey's grateful to partner with you and your families through life's ups and downs, today and for generations to come. Because as neighbors helping neighbors, we're in this together. Busey, grateful to serve the communities we call home.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Behind the Mic Show. I am your host, Sam Irwin, and with me, as always, the mover and the shaker, Big Daddy Twice, man who's lost his mind, barely holding things together, but he's
by a thread, baby, by a thread.
Give till it hurts. You give back to the people. Keith Gibson, and here we are for the Fast Five. And by the way, the Fast Five brought to you this week by New Diageo products. We now have a Captain Morgan apple slice, which smells like a Jolly Rancher, tastes good. I'd mix it with Sprite.
Sounds delicious.
Gibson. You're a Captain Morgan fan. Also, maybe perhaps apple ciders. We are into the fall season once again. And this delight that you see, here's a new Bailey's feature, both new. Bailey's flavor apple pie, Keith Gibson. You can put it in your coffee, perhaps some whipped cream on top of the coffee as well, with maybe a drizzle of caramel. And then perhaps a bowl of vanilla ice cream with
Now, let's be honest. Do each of us ever have just a bowl?
The size of the bowl varies.
Just want to make sure we're on the same page here.
I will sit down there with a gallon and just spoon it out. Why waste my time with the bowl? So yeah, these are phenomenal. Try them out if you're out there, folks. And plus, once again, fall season, apple's big right now. All you chicks out there with your Ugg boots and your hoodies, get some of this too and fall's in session. All right,
I'm ready. Hit me with your best shot.
NFL. Oh, that's what she said. NFL week number 2. 1-1. NFL week number 2, Keith Gibson. Your surprises, shocks. What did you think? How into NFL?
I'm actually into it. I am. I saw that Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, the Niners, and the Broncos got fined big this week for not wearing masks on the sidelines. That was big this week. Yeah. Cam Newton plays well again. Cam, not surprising. How the Atlanta Falcons killed me.
They have never recovered from blowing that 28-3 lead to the New England
Cowboy
Patriots
fans, you can gloat all you want after that one. Dak Prescott, who was on my fantasy football team on the bench, hurt me. Tom Brady gets a win. The Bucs look good. Fournette, they ran the football much better. Tom looked more comfortable in the offense. They were playing Carolina, not New Orleans. There's a big difference. Raiders got a win this week too. So, I'm actually enjoying football. It's not been super sloppy either. There's been some tight games. There's been some close games on both spectrums. Thursday night, Bengals Browns. Who doesn't want to?
Yeah. Right. That Seahawks. I watched the Seahawks Patriots game because I want to watch Russell Wilson versus Cam. Russell Wilson, Keith Gibson, is a consistent football player.
Consistent every year.
Consistent. throws perhaps one of the best deep balls that you'll see. It's amazing the talent that kid has, and quietly leads, continues to improve every week. Seems like Cam Newton has been very impressive. He made some throws. I'm like, that shoulder's just fine. And once again, Bill Belichick somehow, and as we shared on our Facebook group page, which you need to join if you haven't yet, a list of these no-name quarterbacks that are making way more guaranteed money. One that was left off was Nick Foles for the Chicago Bears. He has some guaranteed money this morning, Cam Newton. And Keith Gibson, are you surprised, once again, as you see Keith, see Cam Newton play like this, how people just ignored him? Belichick gets him for little.
I told everybody a few weeks ago before the season even started that Cam Newton will be my comeback player of the year, and I said he has a chance of being MVP. I think that look at Tom Brady, that's a system quarterback, but also Cam Newton is healthy. He's not having to run the football as much, but he's also not getting hit as much either. So that's a big thing, and he's in a system that wins. He's got some guys around him that wins as well, and a winning attitude. I'm not surprised whatsoever. And I also I want to give a shout out to the Arizona Cardinals, who keep coming up big. And I said they're my surprise team in the NFC West. So
Kyler Murray,
you had DeAndre Hopkins to Larry Fitzgerald and let Hopkins learn off Fitzgerald. That's dangerous right there.
And that's what I like about the NFL right now is you're starting to see as the older guard of quarterbacks is starting to, of course, Father Time is undefeated, as I always say. But this new crop, and especially Patrick Mahomes, he made a throw on Sunday, rolling to his right, jumps and throws the ball 50-some yards in the air, and, of course, to the cheetah, who catches it, does a somersault, and lands in the end zone as well. Untouched. It's just phenomenal to see what these young quarterbacks are doing right now, and that's what's exciting to me is this new crop of quarterbacks that you're seeing, and then you see a Cam Newton come back like he's doing, and I tell you this, what I see right now is I think the Patriots, even though they're 1-1, they could have won that game. Had Edelman caught that ball that came through in the end zone, which he normally catches, they win the game. But they played the Seahawks very well. The Seahawks are very good. So if I'm Belichick and I'm that front office and I see that Cam is healthy and Cam looks good, I start making some wheels and deals and see if I can't get some weapons around him now because he's doing this with.
Well, that's what I told Lane that a few weeks ago when you were on vacation. I said I don't think anybody beats the Patriots still in that division. Buffalo's good, but I think when it all comes down to the end of it, New England wins that division. But other than that, Bears 2-0. Can you we believe we say that? Trubisky a great first half. Wow. Montgomery first half. Once they get him out of the pocket, he does well. When they try to keep him in the pocket,
we've said
it
that
doesn't
for
work.
years. Keith Gibson.
I know. Yeah, but win's a win. Doesn't matter. Bears 2-0.
Win's a win. 2-0. 2-0. Can they keep it going? Keith Gibson, do they win 3 in a row?
Let's not push our luck.
Now, what happens when you win 3 in a row?
That's called a winning streak.
That's right. So we'll see what happens. All right. Anything else in the NFL? Keith Gibson. All right, moving on. Tiger Woods struggles at the U.S. Open, to say the least. Misses the cut. Bryson DeChambeau is your winner. Mr. I'm jacked up on all sorts of things. I'm not sure what that guy's thinking, but he's hitting the ball about 380 yards and wears a little fancy hat. And I think him and Brooks Koepka don't like each other, so you got a little rivalry there. But Tiger looked a little rough, Keith, and now he's playing in some deal of this foursome that they're playing with him and Rory, and a couple others that they're playing. But your thoughts on Tiger? Is it all just about the Masters now and nothing else?
I don't know why
matters?
He plays anything else, really, to be honest with you. Just stay healthy, play the Masters, try to get that, and it was bad. I mean, it's worse than I've seen in a long time. I was really hoping once we saw Tiger win the Masters last year and he'd come back and get healthy, and it's just, I think his body is just failing on him, and there's nothing he can do. I mean, no matter how much rehab you do, nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is a back is a back, right? Maybe take a little bit off that swing. Maybe you shoot, maybe your irons are 15, 20 yards, but you adjust your game that way. That's the only thing I can think of. But if it's a back, it's a back, right. And I'm a back. Yeah. I know my back hurt after I played.
Right. Well, and carrying the team like he did. I mean, that's. but as he did it to himself. This is the bad part is, what did they do to golf courses when Tiger was killing everybody? They Tiger-proofed them. They made them much longer, much more difficult.
Narrow.
And now, as he's older, the back's not there. He can't drive the ball like he used to, whereas these young guys, they're hitting at 350 like, Bryson does. and Tiger can't get. And plus, when he tries to gear it up, it's going left, it's going right. Who knows, that friggin' driver? So what do you do? It's a tough situation. But I think he'll be fine come Masters time. I still think he needs to play more often. But once again, Keith Gibson, can he, with his health in the back? It's a touchy situation. Anything else on Tiger? Moving on. Another Tiger of sorts, Clemson. Boy,
nice
do they look good. Now, mind you, about that, I try to improve every week for you. So the Clemson Tigers, college football, as they continue to be a dominant force, but they have played Wake Forest and the Citadel. So, nevertheless, it's Clemson. They're going to be fine. But how impressed are you with Clemson and your college football
I watched
thoughts?
that game against most of on and off Saturday against the Citadel. Now, it is a Citadel. Let's be real here. I mean, I'm not going to say the Citadel's Alabama. But Trevor Lawrence is a NFL quarterback playing in college football right now. He's making some throws that are pro throws. He's got a lot of talent around him, and I'm not sure there's a team in the country, after what I've seen out of Clemson the first 2 weeks, that can beat them. I really don't.
No.
And they're going to blow out a lot of teams.
They're going to blow out a lot of teams, and it's going to be – I'm still trying to figure out with, the SEC starting later, and Clemson, of course, is already 2 weeks ahead, and now the Big Ten's not starting until sometime in October.
Right, October 24th.
Okay. How do we mesh all that together in terms of a playoff later on? Are they going to be able to work that out, or is it just who start?
It's a great question. You know what? It's a great question, but we'll have to find out just like everybody else. The biggest thing is we have college football.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I'm fine with that. I watched Miami play Louisville the other night. That was a fun game to watch. A lot of offense, not much defense. Sorry, Keith Johnson, but your Louisville Cardinals lost. So, a buddy of mine that I do sales with, he's not going to be happy with that, but he loves the show, so he may not after that. But I am excited as SEC big boy football starts this weekend. My Florida Gators go to Ole Miss and play. Very excited. So, got some SEC games coming up, and we just continue to roll along.
I'm just glad college football is back. I watched Marshall play this weekend. Yep.
Anything. I am so happy to watch anything at all that whatever the sports is. Like you said, Marshall. Would you ever watch Marshall before?
I'm a big We Are Marshall movie guy too. I love the movie. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's one of your. I got you.
Hits me in the feels.
Always so. Yeah, I was gonna say you're always so sensitive. So that's what you are. That's right. Anything else from college football? Moving on. LeBron James. There's some good things going on. Then there's some rough things. I think we know why. So, it came out, Colby Covington. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
You sent me this earlier, so I just have a question. Who?
Right. So, he is an MMA fighter who is also a MAGA man. He's a big Donald Trump fan, wears the red hat to the ring, and that's his thing, okay? So, he came out after he had just won a match, all right, and started off with some good things, thanking, the paramedics that do the work, the frontline heroes, stuff like that. And he said, unlike that coward LeBron James, of all people you pick out, the coward LeBron James. Now, on the other side of that, LeBron James is very vocal, as we know, when it comes to politics. He's always got something to say, which makes him completely opposite of Michael Jordan, who never said a thing about stuff like that. When he just played basketball and that's it, sell Nike shoes. LeBron is definitely different. But he's very outspoken against MAGA, of course. So now you've got, what a surprise here as the media does, black versus white, Trump versus non-Trump. Here we go. And Colby Covington says this. Keith Gibson, what are your thoughts? Because here's what I enjoy watching on Facebook is a lot of people, and you see this in the media as well, one side says to LeBron, shut up and dribble. We don't want to hear it. You're there to entertain us. Keep politics out of sports. Keep it out, Keith Gibson. But now when this Colby Covington, I didn't see a bunch of that where people were saying, shut up and just fight. We don't need to hear. I didn't see much of that at all, Keith Gibson. Do you find that odd?
Yeah, because nobody knows who Colby Covington is. You're talking about comparing a hot dog to a filet mignon.
That's right. And
let me tell you this. No, I was going to say this. Colby Covington, you are not even close to that level, so just shut your mouth. I'm not saying either one's right.
This is the same guy.
I'm not saying either one's right.
Right.
But when you're not on that level, I mean, what do you sell? ASICs?
Right. And mind you, the fight before this, he got his face broken and caved in by another fighter. So it's like you just got beat up bad the fight before, but now you're talking smack. But as we know, in professional wrestling, MMA is not much different. You have to sell yourself. So if he can get his face out there,
name drop him and try to make a little extra cash.
Bingo. It's all it is to me. Maybe not, but here's what I say, Keith Gibson. If LeBron wants to say what he wants to say, fine, say it. I don't care. You're an American citizen. If Colby Covington wants to say what he wants to say, you're an American citizen. That's called freedom of speech. So whether I agree with it or not, anyway.
But still,
moving on.
Who's Colby Covington?
Here's a little topic for you.
Okay.
A punching bag, basically. All right, so speaking of LeBron as well, interesting topic here. I want to throw out to you and hear your thoughts. As LeBron and the Lakers and Anthony Davis are rolling right now. They came in now with a hot Denver team that was been down 3-1. They come back, and boy, they are knocking them out. But AD hits a big shot the other night, puts the Lakers up 2-0. LeBron just got 16 first-place votes, finished second for the MVP for the entire season to Giannis. Well, that's a good question. Now, it's a regular season,
Did anybody not look at his entire regular season, what he did?
I guess not. So, and once again, he's in the East. Now, Giannis was in the East, and they were first East, but LeBron had the team first in the West. Usually that used to mean something. And remember, they'd say LeBron was in the easy East. Now he's in the West doing the same thing.
But hold on. Let's stop there before you ask me that question. Yeah. How does LeBron James only get 16 first-place votes? Mm-hmm. Leading a Lakers team that, I just don't, that doesn't make any, and I saw where he said he was PO'd about it, and he should be.
Yeah. And you know what? Thank you, because now you get motivated LeBron, who's going to be hungry to show you why he's the best.
I'm not saying Giannis isn't a good player, but he's not on, I'm sorry. I'm not even a big LeBron fan, but he's not on LeBron's level.
Right. Because LeBron, to me, as I've always said, does everything. He led the league in assists.
Yeah. As a 6'8" forward.
Over 10 assists a game. In his 17th year, and an average 25.
He didn't have to put up the big numbers this year.
No. So, speaking of which, he doesn't have to put up as big a number scoring because he has Anthony Davis, one of the top 5 players in the league. So, my question to you, Keith Gibson, who do the Lakers need more? Are they, if it was just LeBron and a supporting cast with no Anthony Davis, or would they be better off with AD without LeBron? Who would you rather have? If you
LeBron,
had to
hands
pick
down.
one or the other.
Because he distributes. He gets guys involved. He doesn't necessarily, as we've seen this postseason and seen throughout the when they came back to play in the bubble, he does not have to leave. He's getting everybody else involved. He's distributing the basketball, moving the basketball, getting guys in the right places defensively. He is the captain. Right.
Coach on the floor.
Because let's look at LeBron's career. He's never had a great coach. Period. It's hard. Right. I don't think anybody will argue that with me. I would rather have LeBron. AD's a great player, don't get me wrong. But AD can't run the floor and run point and move the basketball around like LeBron does.
Right. Now, let me ask you another question. Better, if you needed someone to score, your better scoring option, LeBron, AD.
I'd probably go AD on that one.
AD's 6'10", all right.
But he can step out and shoot the 18-footer too.
That's right. But like I say to people is, how did he get that shot? Oh, that's right, because LeBron drives in, draws the double team, gets you the pass right here, and you're ready to shoot.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say because he went to Kentucky.
Yeah. No, I give no credit to that. So, But luckily for the Lakers, and I'm guessing if you ask LeBron, he's quite happy to have AD on his team. AD is probably just thrilled to be playing with LeBron. So, and it shows because they play well together. It's fun to watch. And
I've actually enjoyed watching basketball in the bubble. I've actually enjoyed watching some of the play.
I have too. I think they have done. Yes. Once again, because they speak out and they have something to say. People have a problem with that. But if you actually watch the game and during these playoffs, it has been entertaining. I've seen a lot of defense. I've seen great basketball. You got to think they're in an environment that they're not used to. There's no fans except for maybe some family members. And these screens, you're playing on a court you never played it. And think about this too. There's no home court advantage this year. You're just playing straight
playing
up.
In a hotel lobby.
They're playing in a hotel lobby,
or
and they're performing at the highest
room.
level.
That's it.
Yeah. So so there's no home court advantage. Also, to me, I think, I don't know what your thoughts are, to win an NBA championship in this environment is far more impressive than any other NBA championship that I've seen because of the circumstances. You don't know the rims. You don't know the home court of it because, as you know, playing at home with the fans on your side and the roar and the energy and how they can affect the other team.
I've never had that opportunity to play in that atmosphere.
Oh, well, I'll tell you about it sometime. We got more time. But, in front of the 1,000 people at Florida that I played in front of from time to time. But no, but it's different circumstances, right. And it's been impressive to me of the production that you see, the level of basketball.
I'm not a big NBA guy either. Never was. Since Jordan left, and I haven't watched NBA in a long time, but I've actually enjoyed this because I think you actually get to hear him too, and I've enjoyed that more than the production of what an NBA game usually is on TV.
Agreed. Yes. All right. Final topic: baseball. Take it away.
Cubs magic number is dwindling. Cubs are going to be in the playoffs. Ooh. There's 8 teams from each league going to be in the playoffs this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expand.
I actually like it. I think it'll be good. I think you're going to see some tight races come down. The Cardinals are only scheduled to play 58 games out of the 60. They'll only have to play those last 2 games if it has an effect on
playoff meaning.
An effect on someone getting in or not getting in. I think they'll end up playing those 2. I think they'll end up playing 60. But I'm excited. I think it'll be different. They're going to do a bubble in the playoffs too. They're going to be in what is it, in Texas at Globe Life in Arlington and Minute Maid Park in Houston, and then in San Diego, Petco, and I think is that right? I don't know. But anyway, they're doing a bubble where the National League is playing in Texas and the American League is playing somewhere else. I think it's in...
Interesting. And I have noticed the Cardinals have had to play a lot of double headers to catch up from all the games that they missed due to COVID. So that's interesting to be playing double headers day after day after day.
It is. It taxes your bullpen and everything. I've enjoyed... Oh, boy. I haven't watched... I'll be honest, I haven't watched as much baseball this year as I normally do. It's really been hard to kind of get into with no fans and everything else. I love baseball, but you can only watch so much without any fan noise and seeing, some drunk guy in the bleachers with his shirt off, Bosco, my father.
So what do you think baseball could have done like that the NBA?
I don't think they could have. No, I just
could they done anything?
It is what it is. But come playoff time, I think it'll be fun because just like the NBA, there's not going to be a home field advantage for anyone.
Right. And do you think now they've got some time to prep for it at these parks and maybe create more of an environment like the NBA's done with the screens and stuff like that? Maybe they can do a little bit of production. So, Fair enough.
It'll be interesting last week of baseball.
Well, that is it. Yes, and that is it for our Fast Five. What do we have coming up?
Coming up here on the Behind the Mic Show, we've got our weekly Bees, Trees trivia, looking for our Week 12 winner in a row, and our Dumb Criminal of the Week for a Sam Irwin told us earlier from Paducah, Kentucky. Can't wait for that one. And then, of course, coming up later in the show, we'll have Coach Justin Gross from the Benton Rangers on with us, talk about the Let Us Play initiative and the rally they attended in Springfield. We'll be right back here on the Behind the Mic Show from Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill.
Bees Trees, your local ISA certified arborist with over 10 years experience, specializing in tree removal, tree trimming, and with free estimates. Call Greg Miller of Bees Trees today at 217-260-4551.
Welcome back to the Behind the Mic Show. Keith Gibson, Sam Irwin coming to you. Again, just got done with our Fast Five. Always fun to do our hot takes on our hottest topics in sports, Sammy.
But, enjoyable. They get to see your knowledge.
Show trivia time, presented by
It is that sound that comes through. It is now time for our Bees Trees trivia question of the week. Looking to make it 12 in a row. Big shout out to Greg Miller, who is staying busy. I know this time he's staying busy right now with fall and tree branches and cleaning up trees and making decks look bigger. And what a guy.
Yeah. Well, one thing you don't want in this fall weather and winter coming up and ice storms, you want to get those trees trimmed back because the last thing you want is a large log falling on your deck.
That's correct.
You can't have that. Yeah. Keep things cleared away from your deck. That way there's never any damage to your deck because your deck is valuable and important.
You know what I have falling on my deck right now, Sam Irwin? Big walnuts.
What's that?
Big nuts.
Big nuts on your deck. That is, wow. That is, maybe Greg
Well, he's trimmed it back twice already. These things are just keep falling and falling. Earlier this year than normal. Usually.
So big nuts out of your bushy trees.
Yeah. So he's going to come back by here, I think, and trim up before we get out of the house just for the new owners. So, But yes,
Good. That's
I
nice.
gotta make sure
That
you
is
know
nice. Yeah.
have a reputation. You gotta make sure the house looks presentable.
That is. Are you going to warn the new owners
No.
about the big nuts
No.
that fall on the deck? No. Okay. Just let them experience
you
that
know,
themselves.
I had one almost hit me on the chin the other day. Close. It's close.
It's the last
I know.
thing you want
Get
is,
knocked out
is
by
big nuts on your chin. You don't. Yeah, especially when you're out on
Right.
your big deck, you do not want nuts falling on your chin. Never a good idea.
But hey,
yeah.
we've had 11 winners in a row for our Bees Trees trivia question. Can we make it 12? I hope so too. Samuel, do you want me to give them the Bees Trees trivia question of the week? The Chicago Bears.
Give
I'll give it to them. The Chicago Bears are currently 2-0. Surprisingly, 2-0.
I know.
So this week's Bees Trees trivia question is: what draft pick did the Bears select Mitchell Trubisky? So once again, your Bees Trees trivia question of the week is: with what draft pick did the Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky?
I've got an idea.
Yeah.
Good one.
So that's our Bees
All
Trees trivia question of the week. Thanks again to Greg Miller at Bees Trees for being our sponsor since day one of this show, as we are bringing you episode 72 of the Behind the Mic Show. Don't forget you can visit the whole new website, BehindTheMicShow.com, for past shows, podcasts. You can always find us on Apple iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Music, Spotify, Pandora. I mean, really, wherever you can listen to podcasts and listen to music, we're there, baby. We're there.
Yep. And the shop's there. You know, if you need one of those Julian's T-shirts that everybody voted for, you know, you better get on
because
that.
we've sold 5.
Ordered. There's, shirts, hats, whatever you need.
Yep,
baby.
we're
They're
gonna get
out there.
that. We're gonna have some new shirts coming soon, Sammy. We're almost out of shirts. We're gonna have some new shirts. So maybe we design something a little more fancy.
Maybe for the holiday season.
You never know what will come up with that Black Friday sale or
That's right.
Thanksgiving. You know. I was always
Nice.
thinking ahead. Always thinking ahead.
All the time.
But now it's time, Sam Irwin, for your favorite segment of each and every show of every Behind the Mic show. It's now time for our Dumb Criminal of the Week, brought to you by Bill Atwood of North Wayne Insurance. And Bill, you know, what a great guy. He really is. But if you are a dumb criminal, and I'm speaking to some of you out there, if you've done some dumb things in the past, or maybe you're like our good friend Brian Delaney, who maybe has some accidents in trees, sliding down driveways, you're going to need insurance, give Bill a call. North Wayne Insurance. He'd be happy to assist you in auto, home, and life insurance. He'll get you taken care of. So thanks to Bill for being our sponsor for Dumb Criminal of the Week. And Sam Irwin, you said this one is from none other than Paducah, Kentucky, right in your own backyard.
Oh man, and this just happened September 22nd, Keith Gibson.
Wow.
Recent. And this is not from any type of news outlet. This is from the Paducah Police Department, off of their website, off of their Facebook page. This is actually the report that was written. This is getting fancy, and this is in depth. Once again, what do we do to make the show better and expand
Well,
the appeal to our base, right?
between Kentucky and Florida and
go.
Southern Illinois, you never know what you're going to find with these.
Ooh, yeah. So, all right, here we go. So, the time this happened, 12:57 a.m. The date, Tuesday, September 22nd, 2020. The location, Aloha Pools and Spa. Keep that in mind. The suspects, Samantha Lynn Campbell, 30 of Oaks Road, arrested on charges of third-degree burglary and alcohol intoxication.
Hold on. Did you say Oaks Road?
Are always involved. These.
That's
Oaks
close
Road.
to you?
Not
Okay.
my road. I don't think so, yeah, but wouldn't surprise me. So anyway, all right. An alcohol intoxication and on a warrant charging her with failure to appear. Yeah. That's helpful. Also, she had, of course, a helper, Anthony Ray. I'm doing my best on this last name. Lamoureux.
That French?
I don't know. 50 of Goodman. I think so, yeah. 50 of Goodman Street, arrested on charge of alcohol intoxication and second-degree criminal trespassing. 2 people were arrested after police responded to an alarm call at a local business early this morning and found a woman nearly naked inside the business and a naked man in a swimming pool outside. A security company called the Paducah 911 Center at 12:57 a.m. today and said an alarm was sounding at Aloha Pools and Spas at their location. The company had called the business and said a woman named Samantha had answered the telephone and that she sounded anxious. A representative of Aloha Pools and Spas told dispatchers no one should be inside the business at that hour. hang on just real quick. Yeah, so she answered
I was
the
going to say,
phone.
hold on.
as well
She's
when
in
they
there
called.
trespassing, and she went ahead and answered the phone.
Answered the phone. At 1 o'clock in the morning. That's great. All right. So the police responded and found the front doors open and saw a woman inside the business wearing only a bra. Officers said the woman, identified as Samantha Campbell, was not speaking logically and was intoxicated. They said she had destroyed computers and other items in the business as well. Outside the business, officers found a man identified as Anthony Lamoureux or whatever, naked in an above ground swimming pool inside a fenced-in area. The man who was also intoxicated told officers he, Campbell, and another woman had been drinking at a local bar and drove to Aloha Pools and Spas after the bar closed. He showed the officers where he had entered the fenced area through a hole in the fence. Campbell was arrested on charges of third-degree burglary and alcohol intoxication on a warrant charging her with failure to appear. Dude was arrested on charges of alcohol intoxication and second-degree criminal trespassing. Keith Gibson, those are your dumb criminals of the week.
I mean, you got a
Answered
warrant
the phone
for failure to appear.
Yeah.
You break in somewhere to a business, and then you answer the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost better.
And
That's
gave her
almost better than the woman last week who was topless eating the mane of a miniature horse.
That's right. So every week
it just
keeps.
I mean, the best part of this whole thing was that it made you stop and think that, wait a minute, she answered the phone.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen,
And there it is.
that is your dumb criminal of the week. We'll take a quick break and come right back here on the Behind the Mic show. And I have no words after that one.
Summer is here, and at Ford of Tuscola, the deals are hot. Right now at Ford of Tuscola, all new Fords are priced to sell, and our pre-owned inventory starts from under $3,000. Check out our selection online at FordofTuscola.com or get pre-approved for financing on any of our vehicles at www.cucarloans.com. That's the letter C, the letter U, carloans.com. Ford of Tuscola, small town feel with great big deals.
Welcome back to the Behind the Mic show from the Cheap Seat Sports Bar and Grill. Sammy, one of the last few weeks I can say that. Not yet. We haven't moved yet. But Keith Gibson,
Moving
Sam
on.
Irwin here as we bring you. Hold on. Let's start over again. I did not like
what
that
happened?
beginning whatsoever. Okay. In 5, 4, 3. Back here on the Behind the Mic show, Keith Gibson, Sam Irwin, bringing you another titillating interview this week. This week we bring in one of our good friends and a guy who's been on our show for multiple times. He is the head coach of the Benton Rangers football team down in Benton, Illinois. He is Justin Groves. Coach Groves, welcome back to the show and looking great in midseason form.
Oh,
Well, thank you. I'm glad you think I'm looking good. Just like we've had a tremendous weekend in sports here. We've got the Bears at 2-0, bear down. We find out we've got the Billy Donovan hired to coach the Bulls, so we're going to pull them out of the basement and get them back on top. And Mole made his major league debut last night. Speaking of looking good and going
That's
4
right.
for 4, and man, first home run in the bigs.
Thank
I'm
you.
so proud
Thank
of you.
how he has the time between moving, another kid on the way, this show, and then goes 4 for 4 last night for the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't know how he does
Magic,
it.
baby.
You look
Magic,
fantastic.
magic.
You did. Yeah,
Amazing.
when you're
Amazing.
that talented, yes. Grovesy, it is so good to see you, even though, once again, it's not in person, but I'll take what
That's
I
what
can
she
get.
said.
So, first off, tell us about this field that you have. I mean, we've seen pictures, but I want to hear from you personally. Describe this field.
Well, it's still not done completely. I mean, the field itself is, but the surrounding areas are still a work in progress. And I learned a few more things that are coming down the road to button things up and put some nice finishing touches on it. But we have, in my opinion, what could be the best place in Southern Illinois to watch a football game coming up this spring. And we're unique in that we have a brand new turf field, but we did not put a track in. That's just not possible with our square footage there. So we left the original stadium. It's been renovated just slightly on the outside, and actually more than slightly, but it'll look a lot different next year when you see it. New seats, new maroon seats, fresh coating to seal everything up and make it brand new on the outside, and the new fencing all the way around. And it's a concrete AstroTurf jungle out there, and we love it. So, I mean, it's going to be beautiful. Get a new parking lot, our practice field gone, which was used as a parking lot a lot of times. So, the biggest difference I'm noticing, besides, the looks and how much nicer it is, our kids' feet are going to stay fresher. It's a lot safer, a lot softer on your knees. And, as our coaching staff, we've been able to talk, and we've been out there for 7 or 8 days now. And it's just been really nice. When you come home, you feel fresh, and you don't have that pounding you take on a real hard surface like we did on our old practice field. So, man, we love it. We already
It's
love
a beaut, Clark. It's a beaut.
It is. It is. I mean, my God, the advantages, and so many things you can do, and so much more room for activities. So that's fantastic. That's great to hear. But the main reason we got you on this show is because kind of a boat rocker here that's going on in the news is you and your coaching staff and several players went to Springfield for a rally that was conducted about basically let them play. So, we want to play in the fall, not wait till the spring, as every other surrounding state of Illinois is now playing football in the fall. Illinois is the only Midwest state, I think, at this point that is waiting till the spring. But we want to hear firsthand account from you. How did that rally go, and do you feel like it's maybe making a dent, might get some change?
I think it went great. This wasn't a football rally, and it definitely wasn't a football protest as people have described it. And it wasn't, in my opinion, there wasn't too many politics involved, except for to just ask the governor, because we know it's kind of a one-man decision at this point. At least that's the way it seems. Just asking him to take a look and evaluate and look at the numbers and see if we think this is something that can be pulled off in the spring at this point. Great. And he's made his stance clear that we're not going to play now, and I understand that, and I respect the governor tremendously for the job he's done at keeping our numbers down and across the state. And I commend our school and our surrounding schools. I mean, we've been in session for 6 weeks now, and schools are doing a wonderful job, and especially here in Southern Illinois. I can't speak to much else, but we feel like we have similar numbers, if not better, and we could have played in the fall. We knew by the time we got up there Saturday it was probably not going to happen, but I feel like it was important, just as several other coaches, not just football, but wrestling, volleyball. There were some basketball guys there, cheerleading, dance, competitive dance, band. There was a band director there. I remember hearing in the back talking. It's all about extracurriculars and our kids and how important it is to them. And, people say, well, it's just blank. You fill that blank. It's just football, or it's just basketball, or it's just, band. That's fine. I understand that opinion, and maybe it's not the most important thing, but for some of these kids, it's one of the most important things. And for a lot of these kids, it's the reason that school is important to them. It's one of the things that helps them to grow into a young man or a young woman that they need to be a productive member of society later on. So we take it very seriously. Our coaching staff takes our jobs very seriously. Our kids were interested in going, and I felt like it was important to show them that it's okay to go and rally for support. And here's some facts and just, what are we out? A trip to Springfield. And I think, it's gotten a lot of traction. So hopefully that momentum will continue to build, and we can get our basketball teams playing in the winter here, which would be the first hurdle to overcome. I think that's a good litmus test for whether or not we'll be able to play football in
Coach
the spring.
Groves, one of the things you mentioned is the effects it has on kids, and something that this is what they have. And so the mental health aspect of the Let Us Play rally and Let Us Play initiative that's been one of the major focal points as well. And I love that you hit on that, because you're right. I think a lot of kids, this is all they got. I mean, you see it year in and year out as a coach. We've heard it from other coaches that's one thing they worry about is the mental health aspect. How are you as a coach keeping your kids mentally focused, able to keep them in the game with you through this whole process?
Well, so let's talk a little bit about me personally, just so people understand where I'm coming from. Obviously teaching in the school, I see a couple different sides of things, good and bad. We have kids that struggle with remote learning and kids that are doing real well and thriving in that. I have a daughter of my own who's a freshman in high school this year, and she's competing right now in golf, and I've got to go watch her compete. And, I feel like that's a tremendous opportunity for her. she's gone. I don't want to get too personal, but she's flourishing in high school right now. She's only there 2 days a week. She's got a group of friends that she spends a lot of time with, and if it wasn't for golf, I don't know where she would be in terms of that. That's something that she had to look forward to this summer. She got involved. She came into high school with this group of girls, and they've grown tight together. And one of them is 18 years old, getting ready to go to college, should be graduating. So she's gotten a group of friends that has really broadened her horizons, has challenged her, it's pushed her, and she's gotten better as the season went on. So that's personally what I see. And then with my kids, my other family, my football boys, fortunately we have a very mentally tough group. Their mental toughness is not something I worry about. And right now, with the chance of playing in the spring looking pretty good, our kids they're hungry. They're very emotionally charged, but it's a good kind of charge. If they were to come out and say, well, that's it, we're not going to play, obviously, I would think there would be justification in that decision, but our kids would be disappointed. And, it's like I said before, it's easy to say it's just football, but how do you tell that to a kid that's put 4 years of his life into his senior year, and maybe he's looking at, hey, I might have a chance to go play in college. I might, be able to see part of the country I wouldn't be able to see otherwise. Maybe I can, go study something at a school that, offers what I'm, perfectly interested in. It won't cost me any money. I won't have to leave with student loans. Who knows? Just draw up your scenario. If that's what's going through the kid's head, imagine his disappointment when he doesn't even get a chance to go out and prove himself and show, that all that hard work he did paid off. And that's not just to say football. We've got volleyball girls in the same situation. There's all kinds of kids in all extracurriculars that would have that. So me personally, I'm really glad I have the kids I do. They're a really good bunch of boys, and they're focused and they're locked in, and they know we're going to be wrapping it up here pretty shortly. And then when we do get to play in the spring, it'll be bang, bang for our younger kids. They'll get 2 in a row, with very little off season. So they know right now is a big time for us.
Right. Now, as you as a coach and the other coaches that were there, and of course, like you said, you talked about different sports and extracurriculars, and as a leader of these young kids, as you said, and you said it perfectly, it's not just about playing the sport. There's more to it than that. So what lessons do you hope that your players get from that whenever you go to an event like this and speak your mind? What are you also, you're trying to speak up for them, but what are you trying to teach these, like, for instance, for you personally, for these young men, what lessons are you trying to teach these young men?
Well, some people would think, based on maybe some social media posts by our football team and some other things, that we think we should play now because our phrase this year is now, NOW, and that's not the case. NOW stands for no opportunity wasted. So whether we play now or in the spring, it made me no difference when I planned practice the last couple of weeks, and the kids know that. We have opportunities to get better. We're going to take advantage of them. So that's something that could hold true in life. We have kids all the time that, may get an opportunity to have a nice job somewhere in the summer. And even if it's just for a week, don't waste that opportunity. Use that as an opportunity to get better, get some experience, get something on your resume. And then, we talk a lot about adversity. And I think every football coach talks about adversity and facing that and the challenges that come with that. And you want to talk about a challenge, and they're not problems. It's just a challenge to overcome. Imagine having my football team with what little you guys got to see of them last year with some of those kids like Chase Thomas and Reed Bumgart and some of those boys, Logan Williams and Moose Roberts, and they've not been able to have contact since we got our butts kicked by Effingham in the second round of the playoffs last year. That was the last time they put on a pair of shoulder pads and hit anybody. So they're getting antsy, they're getting hungry, and they're having to overcome those challenges. And I know some of them, it's tough. It's tough to come to practice every day and mentally over and over again. And, we're trying to get all of our kinks worked out now so that we can go in the spring. We just pad up and as soon as possible and let them loose.
How have you?
That is not a virtue that I have.
That is correct.
And at 17, I can't imagine those poor kids. That's a test on patience. But Keith, go ahead.
Coach Groves, this is normal time where you're week by week, typically. You're getting ready. You're into the season. You're ready to go. How have you managed your time is, I guess, the right question. Is it more Taco Tuesdays or?
Well, today was Football Dip Tuesday with, I think, as I explained earlier, in pregame here, some fresh sausage, some cream cheese, some jalapenos, fresh from my garden, by the way.
Look at you with a little gardening now.
Yeah.
Well, I made salsa today too. The last batch of tomatoes came. Now the deer are in there. They actually just jumped the fence. I got an electric fence. They just jump over it and go in and help themselves now. And I'm not a gardener, but we have a tremendous garden this year. It's unbelievable. But anyway, no, as far as myself, my wife is a special person. Goes without saying, I outpunted my coverage in every aspect there. So,
I feel you.
Yeah. So she keeps me grounded and reminds me every now and then that, there's some things that at certain times are more important and most of the time are more important. And fortunately for me, I've had this new adventure of a female golfer in the house, a daughter. And I told you that story. And I'm going to tell you what, their coach is a saint. Miss Poole does a tremendous job. If you can imagine 9 girls trying to golf or 8 girls trying to golf all at the same time and the emotions that go with it. I mean, I'm terrible, but I can smile and have a good time. And they're out there competing and getting better every day. But, I couldn't do it. I'll just say that. But that's been a fun adventure for me, something different that I would never be able to do. True. At least not to that extent. I would hope to make a few matches next year, let's say. But to be able to go every time she plays and help her a little bit on the weekends, that's been nice. That's passed a lot of time. And, of course, Coach Webb and I, our offensive guy, he and I have been spending our lunch hours in the gym trying to get, in fighting shape ourselves. So those things just kind of all good. Trying to get myself physically ready to go again. It's been kind of a long off season, especially when we, got locked down in March and, things at home, we're slow going. We got a lot of projects done around, but we did a lot of eating too. So, a lot of home cooked meals at that time, probably more than in the last 3 or 4 years combined. So, just getting ourselves mentally ready to go. I think our coaching staff is all pretty well on the same page right now. We're locked in. We know exactly what the plan is for the season when we do get to play. And I think we've planned through it enough that we should be good once we can first, get them back together after basketball and those winter sports are over. We get them together. I think we'll be in good shape to take whatever time we're given and be ready to play a game.
Coach, do you think that's going to be an issue, the short period between winter sports? I mean, it's basically like 3 days between the end of winter sports and then football starting in the spring. Well, I don't want to call it spring. It's February. Let's be honest. It's going to be colder than Blue Mound Road out there. So I hope you get bundled up. But, that's going to be a transition, too. You're going to be playing when it's really cold to start out and then warm. But those 3 days between winter sports and football, you're going to have some kids I know play both sports. Is that going to be a hard transition, you think, for them?
No problem. It's just a challenge. We don't have any problems. We just have challenges to overcome, and the shoe's on the other foot a little bit now, so to speak. I mean, there are years where your basketball program's going to wait on your football kids to get done, and depending on how late you go into the postseason, I've seen where lots of teams play games before their football kids get there. So this will just be one of those scenarios where basketball wraps up and they come out. Right now with the contact days, the way the IHSA has let us do some things, and there's a summer baseball league that started up here in town. We've got kids that go from baseball practice to football practice or vice versa. And, open gyms are going to be starting up in basketball. I mean, these kids are thriving. They're dying to do something. This is no problem. They are just fine. And if you know anything about our athletes, they will be just fine. The kids that we've got that we're counting on that do play other sports and things, they'll be just fine. We'll get our weight room going a little bit more consistently here once we get through with our contact days and get the green light to get in there a little bit more. We'll get them in there and get them ready to go. The kids that aren't in winter sports.
Impressive.
He's ready to go. He's already game mode.
Yep. Yep, that's right. Yep, organized, ready to go.
Well, Coach Groves, we appreciate you coming on with us this evening. We appreciate you always giving us the time. You're a great man. I love the hat, by the way. Good-looking hat.
Yeah. Looks great.
Always a sport.
God, that looks great.
Matches everything I got.
No, we do that for you.
Yeah.
Because we love you.
And as always, Keith Gibson, always a phenomenal interview. You could ask him about a book that he, read as a third grader. He would be able to give you a great answer over 2 to 3 minutes time and then move on to the next thing. He's just a pro. It's always a joy to have him.
Good friend of ours. Coach Groves, we wish you nothing but us. Keep those kids going. If you need anything from us, let us know. But we're looking forward to football season. We're just like you. Usually we're in Friday Night Mike's season right now where we have you on and the other coaches, and we're missing it too. But, come springtime, we'll be full gear, 100 mile an hour. So we're looking forward to it. Take care of yourself. Take care of everybody down in Benton. Tell everybody we said hi. All right, Coach?
We'll do it. You guys get your winter gear out. We'll get you a spot for one of those first home games.
Ooh, yay.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yes.
Benton Rangers head football coach Justin
Thank
Groves
you.
joins us here on the Behind the Mic Show. We'll be right back after these messages. Imagine working on your financial plan with an advisor who is as committed to your success as you are. Imagine no more. With Cole Duke at Benjamin F. Edwards & Company, you will receive the informed investment advice you need from experienced professionals at a firm guided by one enduring principle: doing what's right for clients. Edwards, it's a family name long associated with client first service. Now open in Flora, Illinois. Call for an appointment today at 618-508-8050. Benjamin F. Edwards & Company, investments for generations. Member SIPC. Wrapping up another edition of the Behind the Mic Show, episode 72. Keith Gibson and Sam Irwin, as we had a great show, Sammy. We had Coach Justin Gross with Benton Rangers on, and what a great interview that always is. We thank him. And if you haven't had a chance to see pictures or video of their new facility down in Benton, make sure you visit their football page, Benton Rangers Football, on Facebook, or join our Facebook group, the Behind the Mic Show. But Sammy, another great hot takes on that. We had a great trivia, a fantastic dumb criminal of the week. It's just been a great show again this week.
Well, that's what
That's
we do,
true.
Keith Gibson.
That's
Entertain
true.
the masses week after week after
I didn't
week.
want to end the show
absolutely.
without saying happy anniversary to my wife. 5 years on Saturday, September 26th. It will be 5 years of wedded bliss for me and the Queen. And so I thank her for putting up with me for 5 years. I know it's not been the easiest. I'm not always the easiest person to live with, Sam Irwin.
Yeah, no way.
I'll be honest, I'm not always the easiest person. But
Congrats.
Thank
Congrats
you.
to you both.
I
Congrats.
remember that day vividly. I don't remember much of that night, and I don't remember much the next morning. But hey, it's okay. Yeah,
it was a time. It was a beautiful wedding. The reception was
7.5 kegs later. I hope it was.
It was a good time. Absolutely. Yeah. Nobody complained.
No, but so happy anniversary to my wife. So I love you, Laura, and thanks for being with me. Thank you. What do you got? Final thoughts this week, brother?
Final thoughts. One, want to thank everybody because, as you told me before we started recording the show, that since March, with our show that's on Facebook every week, there's been 70,000 views of our shows. And we greatly appreciate that. To those of you that tune in, to the guests that have been on, that's awesome, especially for still a brand new show, basically. Yeah, we've been around a little over a year, but that's still pretty new as we continue to try to develop and get better at what we do. So we thank you for that. The sponsors that have been with us from day one, and even the new ones, we couldn't do it without you. And as you said, make sure and go to the Facebook, group, join, enjoy. We've got, voting on there right now. It's Cola Wars. We try to let everybody have a say and have some interaction. That's been fun. So go and vote every morning at 6 a.m. It's on there without fail. Go to the new website as well. And I want to leave you something with this, Keith Gibson. As you talked about 5 years of marriage, there's a lot of frustrations in that, right? Right? I know Lori's frustrated. So,
yeah.
So in saying that, I talked to a friend of mine this week, because we all get frustrated. I mean, how can you not? 2020, everybody's frustrated, right? But he said to me, as I enjoy talking to him, he said to me, he goes, "You know what, Sammy?" He says, "Here's what you do." He said, "You think I'm crazy, you think I'm stupid." He goes, "But try it, guaranteed." He said, "Put the Frozen song on, let it go." He said, "Play that." He said, "Play it once, you think it's stupid. Play it twice, you start to laugh. Third time, you're singing along with it. Fourth time, you've forgotten all about what your problems are because you're singing 'Let It Go.' Everybody knows the words to it anyway. So you just, laugh about it because you can't do nothing about the situation anyway, right? It's all about how you handle it, right?" And then he also said, instead of being ready with a comeback when somebody comes at you, as I'm guilty of, a lot of people are guilty, but you don't want to just sit there and take it. Hey, I got something to say. But if somebody is above you, whether it's the job or whatever the situation is, when they come at you with something, take 3 seconds before you reply. Breathe. Count to 1,000. You don't need to reply right now. Let them see that you're thinking about it. You're calm, cool, collected. Once again, something that I'm trying my best to work on. Patience is not a virtue of mine. But there's just a couple things that if that helps somebody out there, then great, because it does help me doing these things, is to breathe a little bit instead of saying, "Yeah," and I'm coming at you. So I'll just leave it with that. So that's my final thoughts for this.
I think those are good thoughts. Just let it go, baby. Let it go.
Just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, as Sam said,
Let
thank
it
you
go.
for everybody who's watched the show. Over 70,000 views of our shows since March 2020, since COVID hit. So we thank you for that. For my tag team partner, Sam Irwin, down in the Cat Palace in Paducah, Kentucky. I am Keith Gibson from the Cheap Seats Sports Bar and Grill. This has been the Behind the Mic Show. Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe. And remember, be nice.